podcast where everyone has an opinion and you get to hear it. I'll be your host, Seagraves, and today we'll be speaking with Dean Laurie Kohn about legal clinics and why law students should participate. Dean Kohn is UW Law's Jacob Burns Foundation Associate Dean for Clinical Affairs and the Director of the Family Justice Litigation Clinic and Professor of Clinical Law. Dean Kohn, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
And what drove you to transition to academia and get involved with legal clinic programs at law schools from your diverse career experiences in the past?
That's a great question. So I went to law school to practice public interest law, and like most people, I left law school not practicing public interest law. I went to a law firm. I got great experience there. But when I was at my law firm, I got a call from my clinical professor, who I had taken a clinic in law school, and she said that she had a space for somebody to come back and help and work with her and supervise students in her clinic. So I left my clinic and I left my law firm, and I went back and taught with her for what was supposed to be a year, and that turned into 12 years. And then I came over to GW, and I've been here this is my 11th.
Oh, amazing. Well, the community's happy to have you. And let's just go right into asking about the clinical program. So can you tell our law school listeners just a little bit about what is a legal clinic?
Yes, absolutely. So I like to describe the legal clinics here at GW as really having two major components. One is we are an academic curriculum. So we are a class like every other class you take in law school with a big credit load. So most of our clinics are between 4 and 6 credits. We have one new clinic opening in the spring of 2022 that's only 2 credits, but mostly it's a big credit load, and you are taught in this academic curriculum by law school professors, and you have a 2-hour seminar where you're taught all the skills that you need, such as the substantive law, that you need to practice. So that's sort of one component of clinics. The second component of clinics is we are a public interest law firm, and we're one of the largest in the whole DC area. We have 13 different practice areas, and at any given time we have 120 student attorneys and attorneys practicing law. So it's an opportunity for you to take an academic curriculum but also to actually practice law.
13, that's a lot of clinics. And how do these clinics get started, like the new one you just mentioned in spring?
So many of the clinics either were the original clinics that were started 50 years ago. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary. So they either are the same clinic or they have developed from those clinics. But we have added new clinics. We added about 4 or 5 new clinics over the last 15 years or so, but we are now exploding with new clinics. And we add new clinics based on the demand both from the community for particular kinds of legal representation, but also the interests of students and what they would like to try practicing and the skills and the law they want to learn to help them decide what to do, what career path to follow, but also to prepare them to pursue that career path.
I see. So talking about the interests of the students that might want to participate, what year in law school are students able to start applying?
Most of the clinics are actually open to 2Ls, even in their first semester. So during the 1L year, we try and stay away from 1Ls during their fall semester, but by spring we start talking to them really more about clinics. And we do our recruiting in March of each academic year for the following fall. So 1Ls can start applying. At this point, we do have far more applicants than we have slots, that we are working really hard to make that not the reality. So we do generally give preference, most of the clinics give preference to 3L applicants, just because we want everybody before they graduate to have the opportunity of taking a clinic. But most clinics are open to 2Ls and 3Ls.
Now, do you think that 2L students right out of their 1L year are ready for the responsibilities of a clinic with a real client?
That is a great question. I think the way that clinics are set up is we don't let any student work with a real client until they're ready for it. And all of our clinics have very intensive startups So my clinic, for example, we do just about a 30-hour boot camp orientation before the semester, so our students really hit the ground running. So I think in some clinics, it makes sense for students to be 3Ls, like our criminal and appellate clinic is a 3L clinic, because students really do need a lot of classwork, coursework that you don't get in your first year, and a lot of writing training that they get from their summer jobs to really be able to do criminal appellate work. But most of our clinics are really set up to take students how they come to us and get them up and ready. And you'll be surprised. I mean, so many of our GW students have such wonderful experience that they bring with them to law school. And so they're not blank slates. By the time they come to us, even in the fall of their 2L years, they have a lot of insight and experience, and you've learned so much in your 1L year and your 1L summer job that you're ready.
Well, I'm glad to know it's fair to say that our 2L shouldn't be dissuaded. And what kind of experiences might make a clinic applicant stand out from the rest of them?
Each clinic has different criteria that they look at when they are looking at applicants. And our general application asks students to attach their resume, their transcript, and we have a couple general essays saying, what are you going to bring to a clinic if you take a clinic? What are you seeking to get out of the clinic? And then we ask for additional information that we wouldn't know about them that might enhance the clinic experience. And the faculty really do look over these essays very carefully. So most clinics are really interested in people who bring some sort of commitment or some prior experience in either the subject matter area or the area of law, so litigation or transactional, for example. But we're really also looking for people who are truly committed to this kind of public interest work or professional development training, and really have the passion and the commitment to put in the hours and the work to provide excellent client services.
So would you say that clinics are a great opportunity even if a student might not want to go into litigation since there's so much to gain?
Absolutely. I think there is so much to gain. There is professional identity formation that we talk so much about in our Inns of Court, and I think the clinical program is so tied sort of seamlessly to the fundamentals of lawyering and the Inns of Court, and all of those skills and development opportunities that we talk about in those first year programs really are drawn out and enhanced in the clinics. So even if, for example, somebody they knew they wanted to go into transactional work, they may opt not to take the transactional clinic here. They may take a litigation clinic, and from that they would get such an excellent experience in thinking strategically, writing, working closely with a partner, with a faculty member, writing memos, all of those things that you take into any professional environment. And I think another really wonderful benefit of the clinics is that you work really closely with a faculty member. Our student-faculty ratio is at most 8 students to 1 faculty member. So you leave the clinic experience with someone who knows your work and you very, very well.
Well, with all the growth students can get from clinics and work with faculty, I wanted to ask you a little bit about who all this work is for, the clients. Where do these clients come from? Can people just walk up to the law school to ask for legal representation? How do they get in touch with our clinical program?
So in fact, people do walk up to the clinics. We are a freestanding legal services office. That's not usually the best way to get representation from us, though, because we have a somewhat limited docket, because we have only between 8 and 12 students per clinic. So really most of our clients come either from, they call in and they're screened by our staff, or each clinic really has a referral source often. I get in the family justice clinic, I get a lot of my referrals from court. The criminal defense clinic goes down to court and they pick up clients there. So all of our clinics under the rules in DC are individuals who can't otherwise afford a lawyer. So that is the one unifying characteristic of all of our clients, but I would say they are a diverse set of individuals who come to us from all sorts of places.
And How has the ever-growing presence with Delta variant slowed down or otherwise affected GW's clinical program outreach with the community?
That is an excellent question. I'm going to take that, I think, in two parts. One is how it has affected students, I think, and then also the community. We were, like everybody, I think we were all really confused about how clinics were going to be affected by the pandemic in the first place. And because students and faculty have such a close relationship anyway, I meet with my students, many hours a week. I think we were able to transition much more seamlessly to a Zoom environment because we all knew each other so well. So I think clinics really just sort of kept the beat and kept working pretty well during the first 3 months and then last year when we were all virtual. I think students were also really craving, because everybody was working from their homes, right? They were really craving the close contact they were getting with their clinical partner and with their faculty members. So I think from a student perspective, I think clinics were and continue to be even more valuable to students. And then I'll take the community part, is that, as you know, legal needs have just exploded all over the country. Mm-hmm. And so the services of the legal clinics have gotten even more necessary, and I think all of the clinical faculty have worked really closely with their community contacts and the court to figure out how can we pick up even more of the legal needs and meet the access to justice needs of our community.
Wow, well, it's good to know that our school is really reaching out to make a difference. And if you could give one key advice of how students should approach balancing the responsibilities of clinic and their clients with the rest of their coursework, what would that be?
I would say to think really deliberately about what semester you want to take a clinic. Clinics are really different from outside placement organizations or outside placements, because an outside placement, it's like having a job. You go, you're given an assignment, you do it, and you leave. But in a clinic, you are representing the client. It is your case. So I really suggest that anyone thinking about taking a clinic, pick the right semester for them, where they have as minimal obligations as they can possibly work out. We know all of our students have lots of obligations outside of school, and we understand people have to have jobs, but to really look at the right semester for you to try and minimize all of that as much as possible so you really can devote the time necessary to representing your clients.
Oh, that's a great leaving piece of advice. And I suppose thank you so much for sharing so much about an incredible legal clinic program at GW Law. I hope everyone listening is excited to apply. And thank you so much, Dean Kohn, for speaking with us all today.
Thank you, Angela.
And for everyone listening, if you enjoyed this episode of Nothing But Dicta, be sure to check out our website, nothingbutdicta.com, where you can listen to podcasts, read blog posts, and check out some helpful resources. Thanks for listening.